Well, it's that time. Have a conversation with our good buddies from Nauern and Associates. Justin Kraft, actually not in studio, but on the phone with us today. And Justin, I know business owners and private residences as well. Back at the house, people sometimes get into situations where cash flow can become an issue. Now, most folks, what they're going to do is they're going to load up a Visa card, or maybe take money out of the savings account, or just go into some other form of debt. But when we employ the infinite banking concept, take me through a scenario where I need a few extra bucks to just make it to the end of the month or the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. You had mentioned that business owner, so let's kind of talk through that for a minute,
Okay.
Michael, and we'll kind of start at the beginning, because anytime you make a purchase, a major purchase, there's really only two ways to do it. You can either finance it or you can pay cash for it, right?
Right.
So the financing piece, let's just take a work truck or car or something like that, for example. Everybody's got one. So in the first method, if you finance it, what happens is you go negative, right?
Right.
You go in the hole for the cost of the car, and then you work 4 or 5 years to try to pay that car off. And your whole objective that whole time is just to get back to even, right, on that
Right.
car. The weird thing about that is after 4 or 5 years, you've got a lot of miles on the work truck, and it's time to do it again, right?
Right.
So what you have to do is you got to go back in the hole and you finance it again, and that's how people get caught in this rut where, they wish they didn't have to do that, but they're continuing to go in the hole. They're digging the hole, and they fill it up, and then they dig the hole back out, and they fill it up. So what financial books would tell you, and frankly, Michael, what I taught clients for the first 10 or 11 years of my career, is to be in a better position is to pay cash for that truck. Now, it's a little harder on the front end, but essentially, if you could imagine a stair step, what we're doing is every year we're saving money, each and every year, and it may take us 4 or 5 years to save up enough money. And then what we do is imagine we've stair-stepped this money and we've filled up a bucket full of money. So now we have our bucket full of money, and it's time for us to go buy the truck. Well, when we pay cash, what do we do with our bucket? We have to empty it, right?
Right.
So now we have no cash anymore. So I ask people all the time, how much, after we buy that work truck or that car, how much cash do we have? And the answer is zero.
Right. Absolutely.
So we have to start back over again. No different than the guy in debt who had to borrow the money and make payments to get back to even, fill up his hole. What we did is we created a surplus, but then we emptied the bucket, and we're back at zero. And we have to start over again trying to fill up our bucket. Now imagine, I use that bucket just kind of to paint a visual picture for people, because what we're doing is we're constantly filling up our money bucket, then we're emptying it, and then we're trying to fill it back up again. And we're never efficient. Statistics would tell us we're only about 35% efficient at best, earning interest on our money. So what Nelson showed us in the book, Becoming Your Own Banker, what he showed us is a way that we can fill up our bucket with money and never have to empty it. So that money continues to earn interest for us every day, every week, every month, every year. It compounds for us, as we talk about a lot on the show, Michael. Nelson asked me a question back when I was doing my due diligence on this concept, and it was a pretty simple economic question. He said, Justin, if compounding interest works so well, when would we ever want to stop it? And I looked at him and I said, well, never. And every client I've ever asked that question to has answered the same way. You never want to stop compounding interest. However, every time we make a purchase, that's exactly what we're doing. We're stopping the compounding effect. So I ask people all the time, if we can show you how your money continues to grow, aren't we going to be in a better place than we would be with any of the other two options, the financing option where we're paying interest, or the cash option where we're giving up interest in order to pay cash and buy the work truck or the piece of equipment or the car? So that's the first step, is understanding how to structure it so we use compounding interest to work in our favor.